Hi, I'm Michael Guerty. Time machine. Probably asking yourself, what in the world is a time machine? Well, I got the original idea from a children's evangelist named Judy Mensch, who came and did a kids crusade for me in New York in the late 80s. And she basically got a cardboard box that used to be a refrigerator crate, spray painted it a little bit, cut a little door in it, and then just had costume characters come out of it. Well, I kind of took Judy's idea and ran with it, and kind of made more and more sophisticated time machines over the years. And you're going to see exactly from scratch what it is that you make a time machine out of and what you add to it and what you do with it. Now, time machines are basically just about a 6-foot tall, 2-foot square metal box that you bring costume characters out of for kids' church, because you know as well as I do that there's something about dramatizing the Word that is very effective, very powerful, and it really helps to enhance the children's memories of the Word of the Lord. Also, it's used as a great comical tool and to have a lot of fun. So the three kinds of people that we bring out of a time machine are either one, historical figures, Bible characters and people from history, or even people from the future, or we can bring out villains, and who we use those kind of people to have the children correct them, and they're usually the antithesis of what you're trying to teach. And the third kind of character that we bring out of a time machine are people who are funny, comedy characters. So those three really help to enhance a presentation in children's church. This is what it looks like. All this is a bread rack from a bakery. Take a good look at it, and what happens is a lot of shells go in here that they used to warm bread with, and after I guess they baked it, they keep it warm in this thing. So that's all it is. It's a bread rack from a bakery. Now you can make them out of other things as well, but as far as what I have seen, these are the best. So now I'm going to pan it for you with the camera to give you an idea of what it is. Stands about 6 feet tall. It's on casters. All right, it's about 2 foot, maybe 2 feet by 1.5 feet. And this is your raw material. This is what you start to make the time machine out of. Now, of course, you can get about a 6-foot person in there, or he has to crouch down. But this is what you start with. Keep your eye open. You can go to an old bakery, and sometimes they have them that are broken, and you can get one real cheap, or you know, an old warehouse. Every once in a while you come across something like that. So these are awesome. If you tried to make one out of wood, which we've thought about before, it would be pretty heavy. Don't think it would be that sturdy or strong either. So this is what you're looking for. And again, with kids, you could use it, like Judy gave me the original idea of a, you know, just a refrigerator box, but it's really cool to make it metal and shiny and futuristic with all kinds of, you know, gadgets on it, which you'll see as we go through this video. The next thing we have to do, of course, is we've got to put a wall on one side, because of course you want to hide the person until it's time to bring them out from back in time or ahead of time. So you need to build a wall here, and then on the other side you need a door. Now I happen to have a door from another similar looking box that I had. The other time machine that I built them out of very thin framed wood and paneling. And I'll go get that for you, so I'll give you an idea in case you can't find the metal doors that you need. A piece of wood, something like this, like a 1x2 or a, you know, 3/4 by 1.5, whatever you can come up with. And what you do, if you can't get the metal walls like we want, then what you do is you build a frame out of this kind of wood that would fit just inside the inner diameter, the inner dimensions, I should say, of this box here. So you build your wall like that, and then what you do is take a piece of paneling and put it on the inside, and of course the paneling would have to be the right thickness. Obviously this isn't. And all you do is just make your frame to fit inside the metal frame here, then take your paneling and of course attach that to the frame, and then that makes one wall. Now what I did when I had to make a wooden one before, let me show you, is of course when you're done building the wooden frame and wall, you want to put it inside. Sorry about the noise. You want to put the whole thing inside the frame so that it's inside this crossbar here, if you have one. And even if you could get it up inside this little hollow part, you would be even more durable, because I don't know about you, but when we build these things, we tend to take them and travel a lot with them, and they get knocked around a lot. So you really want something sturdy. So you can find scrap paneling or scrap Luan. This particular piece of paneling has this decorative I don't know, film on it, if you will, and that makes a nice look. Or you might want to spray paint it silver or whatever you think. So that's what you do for this side. Then you make another panel out of the same kind of wood and the paneling, and make the exact same thing, but hinge it on the other side for the door. So I happen to pick up a nice metal cabinet door off another cabinet, so I'm going to mount that on this thing, and I'll show you what I do with that when I'm done doing it. So we'll be back in a second, okay? Got a door on. Now remember, I'm using a metal door, and I had talked to you in the earlier scene about you building your own wooden one if you can't find a metal door. I happen to get this one off of another metal cabinet. So just put some regular, I'm watching myself in the monitor here, so make sure you see what I see. Now I just use some regular hinges here. Usually use 3 of them, because this door, if you're using it a lot, gets a lot of use, and this is a metal door. You can probably get away with 2 on a wooden door. But because of the use that we put ours through, and all the moving that we do, I'm trying to make this as fortified and as strong as I can. So, okay, so got the hinges there. Then I just went through my hardware junk can, if you will, and found an old gate latch that I had with a slide bolt. Okay, that's just a little gate latch. In fact, I'm not even using it as it's designed. You'll see that it doesn't even slide because of these vents over here, but it just drop that, you lock your person in there, okay? It's nice if you can to have some kind of way so the person inside, he can get out if he needs to. One time we were doing a kids rally in Reading, and I was in the time machine, and I had done my little monologue drama, and they wheeled me behind the puppet stage and went on with the service and left me locked in there. So I had to keep knocking without hopefully interrupting the service to have them come and let me out, because we didn't have a way to get out. So there's the latch there. Right there, you can catch it. That's a little chain I ran from the door to the main part of the time machine, just so the door doesn't swing out and it can hurt the hinges. And another important reason for that, let me go wide here. Another important reason for the chain is that when you come out of the time machine, you still want to keep as anonymous as you can, if you will. So this will keep it from flying open and the kids seeing too much of what's inside, okay? You don't want them to ever really see what's inside. When you're not using the time machine, it's good to keep it away from where kids might be, because it's supposed to be, you know, we know it's make-believe and whatnot, but it's still important that they can see that, you know, we want to play make-believe as well as we can. So when we start adding electronic gadgetry to the time machine, this is the front. You want the door to swing out and facing the front. That way you have a little bit more privacy coming in and out of it. The kids aren't able to look inside. And then you usually tend to have gadgetry and lighting on the door as well, so it just gives you more of a display. So when you start putting your gadgets on, make sure that the part of the door that swings open is part of the front. We're going to put up a power strip, which is your very first step, and then we'll start adding some gadgets to it as far as what I mean by that: moving parts, a little fan that you paint the blade so it shows more motion, light bulbs, different color light bulbs with flashers, and any kind of computer circuit boards that you might find at a dumpster, at a store that the guy had to throw out. Anything you can attach to it that makes it like a jalopy or a contraption, the better. In fact, you might want to put some funny things on it. I was driving in traffic a few months ago at a red light. I saw a piece of a catalytic converter laying next to the curb. So I got out and got it. I'm going to put that on here somewhere. So you can even put a faucet from a sink or whatever you want to do to make it funny and unique. So you can be creative yourself. So just wanted to give you the basic idea of how to start. So this is your power strip. And this is what I usually start off with. Around here. Now usually, making sure in my monitor, I bet you're seeing what I'm trying to show you. So what I normally do, put the power strip on the back wall there, because this is the most narrow part of the time machine, and when you're coming in and out, the characters, you don't want anything in their way if you can. So I normally put the power strip, somewhere. I usually put it up here at the top so it's not kind of in the way of the torso and things like that. And you might have a weapon if you do a soldier or something like that. So, I tend to put it up here. So we bolt it to there because all the other gadgets that you have plug into this power strip, okay? And then when you turn the time machine on, everything comes on. You don't have to, they're all switched. So you want to attach this power strip either with some sheet metal screws or nuts and bolts or whatever, okay? Okay, here it is. You have the door on with the hinges. One of the hinges there. There's another hinge there with a safety chain to the door like I showed. Now on the last scene I didn't show you the back wall, which is these green shelving units here that I used. You can use wood. All right, of course, for privacy and to close in and hide your person. There's the power strip. It's mounted now. Then I just ran the cord of the power strip outside through the grooves in the side wall. Now, here's something very important too. You may not have noticed. That's the floor. You got to have a floor. And I used 3/4 inch, believe it or not, an old piano board that I cut to fit. So there's the main box, the entire box right there. All right, now this would be what is considered the back of it. Now, and here is the side. Okay, and then the front view, you always, like I said, you always have the door opening up towards the front of the machine. So if I was in the audience with the camera, of course, this is what would face the audience. This is just a cookie sheet from an oven, all right? And the name of this kid's ministry is the Diamond Mine. And so what you do is you take this cookie sheet in hand, like I'm doing now. And where this usually gets mounted on these things is right here in the front. Kind of advertise your ministry, if you will. It'll be put right around the center of the front of the thing. And I'm holding the camera, so of course I can't do it. So the next step will be to mount the sign, because all of your other lights and gadgets and things like that go around the sign. So the sign is the first thing you put on after the power strip. Okay, so we're getting there. It's taken some time, but no pun intended, but this is the Diamond Mine time machine. There's the cookie sheet that we spray painted silver. You can spray paint it fluorescent orange if you want. And use these stickum letters that you can get in sheets. And I was out of E's, so I made E's out of F's, as you could probably tell. And then what we'll start doing is just started putting on all the electrical apparatus on it. And then here I put my first piece of gadgetry on there. And it's just from an old sound system that used to be in this church years ago. And it's just a little VU meter, and it looks really cool. You want to have a lot of knobs and switches that you can use to turn things on and when your professor is running it and whatnot. And here's what a finished time machine looks like. After I had finished the last scene where you just saw the bare cage with a sign on it, I had to use it right after I got it finished. So here is the finished model, and looks a lot different from the last scene that you saw, I know. This is the door. Close it here for you, so you get a better picture of what this looks like. All kinds of contraptions that we found in computer store dumpsters. You see right there, there's an orange cover to a catalytic converter I found on the street while I was at a light. There's just a fan from an old little fan for somebody's house, and took that off, took it out of its cage, so to speak, and mounted it on the time machine, painted the blades. Obviously a computer keyboard from a dumpster. And if you'll notice in the last scene that we had the Diamond Mine time machine sign, well, that's on the other side of this. I do 2 different children's ministries, so depending on what function I'm doing, I can be either Caboose or Diamond Mine, so hence the sign is different here. Let's see, this plate here is from our sound system. That was this component here, and this component here was just from our sound room that had been there for many years, I assumed, is laying in a junk box, and my sound man said I could have it. There's a panel off of a microwave oven. Took that off. There's computer printouts, computer circuit boards, I should say. And here's what it looks like as you start to turn things on. I tried to put as many switches as I could on it. Get all the switches going here. And then each switch has a flasher mechanism. Or a lot of them do, because you know you like to have things moving. And I will open the door so you get it again, so you get a... The reason that you want the door open is to... it hides the person coming out of it. On this particular time machine, I put a real clock on it that has the actual time. That might be a curse more than a blessing if you're in a kid's service, and for some reason, I don't know why they would be, but they're bored, and they see what time it is and they're watching the clock more than paying attention. So you might want to just make the time an alternate time, a random time, and not the actual time. So this is basically what a finished product looks like. You have your costume character enter it, of course, off stage or out of the room. It's turned off. You wheel it in with them inside, and then you have a nutty professor operate it, and he plugs it in. Then he starts turning on the switches. Commensurate with that, you have the sound effects tape starting to crank, any kind of machine or cranking sound you want. And the person inside, in the meantime, is shaking the machine, giving it the appearance that, of course, it's doing it on its own. I'll show you the back side here. Just have some more danger, keep out, authorized personnel only, posted private property. That's the back side of it. All right, it's a trash can lid on top. There's like a vacuum cleaner hose. All right, so it's a very effective tool. I highly recommend it. And you'll just have to get an electrician or somebody with a little savvy just to hook up the circuitry. You remember from what I showed you on the original footage, right in here, there's the, see, I just drilled holes through it and mounted all my electrical apparatus, all right, on the inside, and then I all plugged into that multi-plug power outstrip with flashers. Now, flashers aren't on every one of the circuits, just the ones that you decide you want them on. They'll be creative, and an electrician can help you do this. And just have different circuitry here. Try to keep it safe for your personnel in there. And I mark mine with a magic marker on the inside about what each is and which is the switch leads and things like that. So that don't pay attention to that. That's a robot I built, first robot I ever built, and we just store it in here. So that's it for the time machine. Be creative and have a great time.